a sense of capital. Aloha, lads and gents! Welcome back to a new episode of A Sense of Capital stock news, actually. And it's a quite new one. It's one of the first ones because it's actually the second one, yeah, guys. But before we jump in, your host of today, as always, is Julian. I'm very glad to have you in, guys. And I expect the upcoming minutes will be full of very interesting and exciting information and updates about your favorite stocks you are invested in, or you maybe are observing because you put them on the watch list and maybe you want to invest into the future. Guys, today it's 22nd of August, 5:30 in Leipzig in Germany, and the last stock news episode is roughly 7 weeks ago. So in the future I will keep them in terms of a frequency each week, one episode from September on, very likely at least. So they will not be always that long and full with information like this one and like the last one, but one more time, this one, the episode will take as well a little bit longer. However, that doesn't has any negative impact on the quality of the single information, actually, guys. And before we jump in, actually it's not that important like in the other cases, because this time it's not that much about my opinion. I just fetch up all this kind of information which might be interesting for you when you are invested in those stocks. However, as always, quick disclaimer, in the upcoming minutes, this will not be financial advice, consultation whatsoever, and there is no guarantee of correctness for the provided data. Yeah. So don't blame me, guys. Don't blame me, guys, if you lose money. Yeah. But come to me and give me something if you win money, of course. However, quickly sharing the screen and what kind of companies will get covered today. The regular ones we always see, because those are the ones which I'm invested in, and I'm only talking about companies I'm heavily into it, I'm convinced by, I spent a lot of time in it, and I can't take a focus on too many companies at the same time. So I have just a small bucket of selected companies, and as you can see here, so one of them is ALFEN, the substations, energy storage systems, and EV chargers provider out of the Netherlands. GRAB, the deliveries, mobility, and financial service provider out of Southeast Asia. HIMS+SENTINELONE, digital pharmacy, doctor shop, and medicaments of healthcare provider out of the US. New digital bank out of Brazil. SentinelOne, cybersecurity provider out of US, and StoneCo, point of sales, financial and banking services, and ERP software provider out of Brazil. So quite some exotic stuff, I guess, guys. And let's don't wait. Let's start with it. We don't want to waste any minute, I guess. Let's get directly into the very interesting part and start with the first news. And we will go chronological through all the different companies. Start with ALFEN and go on with GRAB. Third one will be HIMS+SENTINELONE, and so on and so on. Okay, guys, sharing my screen. Hope it's working. Looks good. Taking a sip of some fresh, delicious tap water. And go on with the first news addressed to ALFEN. You can see here it's from 9th July, so roughly 1.5 months old. And actually, ALFEN stated by themselves that they are the first AC charge point manufacturer to get a OCPP 00201 certification. What does this mean? Basically, that enhance the security between the charger and the charging station management system. Yeah, you can see it here. It's somehow illustrated, and it's something what needs to be done by law in the European Union. Basically, I mean, in general, security and cybersecurity getting more and more relevant over here. I guess that's at the end everywhere in the world the case, and it's nice that they can stick to their premium requirements or attitude, let's say it like this, and DNA. to really be the first mover, and they proved it. They did it here as well, even though the company is struggling. Check out the earnings results of yesterday. You can check out the stream if you're interested in what happened. However, so first of all, it's a little bit more secure if we talk about this connection between the actual charger and the system. And on the other hand, you can see it here. Two other benefits come in hands, or two key features, how they call it. And you can see it here. The first one is called plug and charge. So it's a function or an option to enable a quicker charging, more convenient charging without entering additional identification information. Yeah, so that is one aspect, one comes in hand with it. And another one is bidirectional charging. So basically, not only you can charge with the charger the car, but you can use the battery inside of the car to take it out, push it forward, and transfer it. For instance, when you charge it at your home, to use it for your household, for the apartment, for the light bulbs at the ceiling, whatsoever. Yeah, so that's the reason why it's called bidirectional. However, not a game-changing information, at least from my perspective, but at least an interesting one and a positive one, guys. Okay, the second one here is not actually just the news, but what they have changed on the website, that they integrated right now in their product portfolio their AC charger, a DC charger, as you can see here, and it's quite fast compared to their regular solutions. You can see they can charge the batteries in 2.5 hours. So in the past, a lot of those solutions they offer, you need to charge way more hours to basically reach full capacity in terms of the battery which is installed in your EV. And so it's great that it's the case that they're really extending their product portfolio. It looks a little bit awkward when you ask me, because like this T, yeah, a little bit like the hammer of Thor. Yeah. But on the other hand, again, maybe it's a USP. You recognize it, and as soon as you see something like this, you know, okay, it's a ALFEN solution. So not 100% sure about the design, but if it's working, that's the most crucial aspect. And nice that they dig forward, and I can imagine that this one is way more interesting for companies, for instance, as well for cities, but for instance for companies. Look, when you have a company guest there, a business guest out of somewhere, and he wants to have a presentation, yeah, in your office, and leaves after 2 hours, yeah, after the presentation and the small lunch or whatsoever. Great that you can offer him that the car is fully charged and not that it's just charged by 10% up or something like this. And this kind of solution can make it happen. And so the solution, you can see it here. I don't hope, maybe I mute it quickly. You can see it right here. They're promoting it now currently on exhibition, congresses, so live events. Crazy, ooh. And here you see here, they're more legacy business, but here's the new one. So great to see, and people are adopting it and are interested in getting information about the solution, of course, hopefully. Maybe it's a game changer, maybe not, but I'm happy it's existing. And of course, they promote it as well on LinkedIn in general. Yeah, as you can see here, always nice to follow on LinkedIn the companies. I always can recommend it. A lot of interesting news getting shared, a lot of cases, no matter if you follow ALFEN or Google or whoever, Alphabet. But you can see this is how it looks. Very likely in reality it will not be always branded like with full ALFEN design and corporate design. Yeah, but they're showing it's existing. They show that they're already selling it, start selling it, and basically first customer feedback. Yeah. So that's already it for ALFEN, guys, actually. And so as you can see, we will now go on with Grab. So not too much news about ALFEN, but again, yesterday earnings release. So that was way more interesting than any news, I guess. So let's go on with the next one, and that is Grab. And Grab has definitely some more news in the pipeline, just only because of Superbank. So just for introduction, for quick briefing, Superbank is their banking business, what they launched in June. So roughly 2.5 months ago, 2.5 months ago, in Indonesia. And Indonesia is by far the largest market in terms of GDP, in terms of population. It's roughly 40% of all Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia, roughly 700 million. and I think Indonesia has something like 260, 270 people who are living there. So very, very impactful, strong market, can really make the difference as a single market compared to every other market out there in Southeast Asia, Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Myanmar, Cambodia. All of this doesn't have as close as the effect as Indonesia, especially in the future when we talk about considering their GDP growth and population growth. And so it's great that after launching their banking business, the digital banking business in Malaysia with GX and in Singapore with GXS, now the third one followed, and for me the most crucial one, and that's the Superbank actually. Yeah? And you can see they're offering already some, at least on the first glance, well, I mean they have a very higher interest rate. However, you get here, if you deposit your money there and go to an account, you get 10% per annum, yeah, interest rate. So that doesn't sound bad for me, quite appealing. I'm always thinking about moving to Indonesia to utilize those conditions. However, so they really try to create attention basically with the Superbank, and you can see then they announced now they're collaborating with Grab. Reasonable, because Superbank is directly connected to Grab, yeah. But of course they make it official as well, so it's connected and integrated into the Grab app to dig those synergies, classic stuff for all of you who are already invested in Grab. But now there comes really an interesting news, and look at this guy. I mean, if you would not know who this is, I would think they hired him straight for this commercial clip. But actually that's their president, yeah. That's the director of Superbank. So I think he looks very sympathetic, but who knows? People who sometimes look sympathetic, you never know what is in Germany you say what is in the basement, what I have in the basement, what kind of secrets. However, I at first glance I like him, but it's not about liking him or not. What I like even more is this here. Superbank has reached 1 million customers in just under 2 months since their launch. Yeah? 1 million customers. I think GX and GXS, even though they launched their business, I think was it November 2023, something like this, 9, 10, 8 months ago. I think they, if I'm not mistaken, but I think they have still not 1 million customers. Not because they are so bad developing. It's just the smaller countries, of course, but basically because Superbank is developing so strongly. And keep in mind, 260, 270 million overall citizens in Indonesia, so still some room for improvement. That's definitely not all, but that is just an idea of what can happen when we talk about the Superbank stuff of Grab. And you can see here they're offering additional stuff, yeah, here, and some service they are doing, so really they try to create a lot of attention in this regard. But that's it for Superbank, and now we come back to the parent business, and that's Grab. And they surprised me, but I like to share it because I think it's just interesting. You know, look guys, honestly guys, I try to invest in companies. I'm not sure if everyone is doing this. Really, I have some people in my mind as well who are doing YouTube, and I sometimes think those people are just investing in stocks. Yeah, and for me, it's this difference. Part of it, at least, or in detail of it, is when we talk about investing in stocks and companies. A lot of people that just take care of superficial numbers. Let's say it like this. Yeah, like always the same: adjusted EBITDA, revenue, cash flow types, this kind of numbers. Yeah, and just by distance or almost they rating and making decisions about investing or not. And I really try to dig into the companies. I like the business itself. I like the sector specific numbers. I like what you can get there. I appreciate highly everything you can get over it, and not just about this general generic KPIs which every company has basically. And so what I like to see is, for instance, this, and maybe you are the same. So they mentioned they won the Red Dot award. It's actually a German award for design, and at least in Germany it's quite popular. So a lot of big companies already received this, or even very, very nice products, let's say it like this. So it's a design award, one more time. And they received it for this kind of thing here. And it's a little bit funny because that shows really what kind of enterprise it is, that they're doing this by their own actually, even though they are not Siemens or Toshiba or whoever. Yeah. So why they have this? Yeah, you can see it here as a demonstration. I mean, they use it. It's a little bit like how Google Maps was established. Yeah. So Grab has an own service for the riders, for the drivers, and it's called Grab Maps. You can see it here, Grab Maps. And with Grab Maps, basically the drivers, I think 90% or something like this of them using Grab Maps, or not a Google app or something like this, yeah. And of course, like Google drove with their cars through the streets everywhere to have this Google Street stuff, as you can see here. Grab needs to do this as well, but Grab actually, wait, I do push on brake. Grab has a big challenge that the area in the countries where they are present is not that well structured, like a lot of times in the Western world, for instance, yeah, that you can cover everything just by driving by a regular car. Yeah, so you can see here, you can put this even to the wheelchair, or can you walk with it just, yeah, or put it on your bicycle, on your motorbike, or even on the car. And by doing this, you basically recording your complete environment, and doing this even in the very narrow places, very narrow streets. And look, they're showing, they're telling a lot of how they developed it. It's very interesting actually, I think, if you like this kind of stuff. Look, this is how they started, then they connect them to each other, and that's the end result of it. And this is how it looks then in reality. You can see it here. I think the quality is maybe not overwhelming, but it makes sure, I mean, that is how Grab drivers actually are delivering. Yeah? For someone from Germany, you would think, huh? That's not even allowed to drive in this kind of areas in Germany whatsoever. But here they use their motorbike for this kind of paths, let's say it like this. Yeah, they need to utilize it like this. So, and for this kind of camera is excellent to use, and of course as well for these big shopping centers, which are a lot of times in Malaysia and Singapore, for instance. You can see it here, because yeah, it's nice to have an app outside for the streets and everything, but when you are inside and you are a driver and your time is money. Every minute counts for everyone involved, the merchant, the customer, the rider, and of course Grab itself. It's really, it sounds like a not important aspect, but it is actually, yeah, it is. And so when they are inside of the building, yeah, of a big shopping mall, to find really the store, and there are sometimes dozens and dozens of stores, crazy difficult. But if they have some insights by using those kind of hardware, yeah, and using the app and have this information, they save a lot of time. That creates efficiency effects, and so at the end, that is a red dot winner product, which seems a little bit like a side effect, but at the end, it's not just funny; it really adds value. Yeah, that's from it. When we talk about this Kata Cam 2, I like it. Maybe I want to order one by myself to measure my small apartment and never forget where I put in the milk, yeah, for instance. Okay guys, let's go on, and the last news which is related and connected to Grab is actually this here. Not sure how relevant this is, yeah, but as well something interesting. You can see here they rolled out some Grab food lockers to deposit the food. I'm not sure if they keep them warm or not or whatsoever. But at least it's a differentiator. Maybe not every competitor offer this kind of solutions. As well, it can save time, because, for instance, imagine that the customer is not available. He's still away, maybe just shopping some stuff, and you already delivering the food, yeah, the dish. You can put it here as a driver, leave the space. Very simple. Everyone's satisfied. No issue at all. So nice to see as well, guys. Okay, and the last news, actually a negative one, but we will cover it as well, because I cover everything what I think is interesting for you, and I think what is interesting for you is the same what is more or less interesting for me. So I mentioned it already during the live earnings stream. So Grab in Singapore, they plan to take over and acquire the third largest mobility provider, which is called Transcap. You can see it here in the photo. And yeah, basically that was already, I think they planned it already in 2023 or something like this, really some days ago. And yeah, basically by the authority, the watchdog, and some present antitrust issues. So Grab might get too much power if they acquire the third one, because I expect Grab is the first one, the largest one. If they get the third largest one, that's bad for competition, at least for the competitor, let's say like this. And of course they have way more power about pricing, granting incentives and bonuses and this kind of stuff. So yeah, it was not possible to make it happen. Basically was denied, no deal, and it is how it is. Okay, please grant me as well a zip. And if you are so far enjoying the stream, guys, just very quick promotion from my side. Please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me as well on social media. For instance, today I purchased shares of ALFEN, and I always keep the audience up to date through these channels. However, let's go back and we talk now about the third company out of 6 for today, and that is Hims and Hers. I guess most of you are waiting for just Hims and Hers. Yes, I'm convinced as well by the stock and I love it, and I'm highly invested. It's roughly 40% of my portfolio actually, but sometimes it's too much Hims and Hers, honestly, for me, man. I like to invest in this more niche players, smaller players. I like this kind. That's how I listen to music. I don't like to listen to much mainstream music. I don't know, it's in my DNA, and so I like to go for the smaller ones. And Hims and Hers, I mean, actually it's a good sign that I already get this mainstream feelings, because Hims and Hers is growing that heavily in terms of attention. Yeah, check out Seeking Alpha, the platform for analysts and stock research and company research. And if you see how many analysts covered Hims and Hers just within this week, it's crazy. I'm not sure why actually this week, not last week or the week before or whatsoever, but it is how it is. However, guys, let's go back and talk about Hims and Hers. And here as well some interesting news. So what I want to show here, even though it's a little bit later, it's from beginning or mid of April, so roughly 4 months old, but you can see this headline: Eli Lilly suffers legal loss in tirzepatide case against compounding pharmacy. So basically it's as well a weight loss product, their weight loss product, their major ingredient in their weight loss product, not the one which is currently Hims and Hers utilizing in their weight loss products, but what they are planning very likely to roll out. At least they mentioned it during the Q2 2024 earnings call, and even other versions, of course. However, what they mentioned here, I mean, they wanted to avoid or make sure that someone else can't offer this product, yeah. And I think they just not go to the authority, to the overall official authority, FDA, but they really try to do it over the state law in US. Yeah, I guess every state has some laws, or all of these 50 states in the US. And so basically this was as well denied, they lost it, and FDA is about everything or above everything in terms of power. Yeah, so just want to show you, even Eli Lilly is not winning even everything when they sue someone or whatever, when there's a legal situation. That's not the case. And on the other hand, the big players here, like the FDA, the authorities, they are authorities, yeah. And just because Eli Lilly is screaming, please don't allow compounding generic products for Hims and Hers or whoever, that doesn't mean they will immediately be successful. That's the message out of those news from my perspective. Yes, a little bit affected because I'm an investor of Hims and Hers, but it's my show. Okay. And here a very interesting one. From my perspective, actually a news which has the potential to cover the headline. But I have a stronger headline, and I don't want to always talk about Hims and Hers. And I guess every stock news could be about Hims and Hers because there's so much going on, I guess. But this time I want to focus a little bit more new in StoneCo. However, this has the qualification, basically, really the crispiness to give this stream a headline, because in talking about Teva is as well a generic company, Teva Pharmaceuticals, and you can see they providing as well some GLP-1 product. And what is interesting, actually, it's not that much about Teva and this kind of stuff. What interesting is this, not more and not less. The patent for Novo Nordisk developed liraglutide is set to expire until November 18th of 2024. So there are basically, as far as I know, 3 major components, major ingredients on which the GLP-1 needle injection solutions are based on. Yeah, this is this one, tirzepatide, okay, for Eli Lilly. Then we have for Novo Nordisk this liraglutide, and then we have as well for Novo Nordisk semaglutide. Semaglutide is this more efficient one. You can lose more weight on average, and the advantage of Tirza, I call it Tirza now, Tirza from Eli Lilly, and semaglutide is you use it once a week in a pen and that's done. Yeah, and this liraglutide, the downside is that you need to use it daily, basically daily. Yeah, whatever. When people think that Hims and Hers need to stop weight loss products overall, and this cost advantage of just $200 per month is not worth anything anymore in the future because of this aspect. Look, guys, their patent is running out. Yeah, even there's a chance without this aspect, because they can provide different plans, different versions, different form types, like chewing gum or whatever, maybe in the future, who knows, or some pill which you take to lose weight. Yeah, so additional pills actually, or different dosages to make sure that negative side effects are lower. Even we leave this out of our calculation just because of this aspect. For me, it sounds like, and they mentioned as well, Hims and Hers during the latest earnings call, they want to push solutions based on liraglutide. That makes sure they are not that depending anymore on the production shortage of Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk or whatsoever, at least in terms of the semaglutide and in terms of tirzepatide. So they are major products. Yeah, I like this very much. That's a heavy one in my opinion. Again, Hims and Hers for me is an investment, just my opinion. Even without any weight loss product based on GLP-1, even without one, anyhow, even without in general weight loss, but they have good ones which just working based on pill sets and this kind of stuff. Yeah, in kids. But that shows me that, okay, worst case, what I can imagine is they roll out products as soon as they can't go anymore for this Tirza and the semaglutide. They go for products based on liraglutide. Yeah, maybe push this in a good version that you consume it very well. Yeah, maybe as well in a pen. You don't need to take a needle and zip it up and out, or how you call this. Make it full, load it up, and push it out. But still they can provide GLP-1 weight loss products in the future, yeah, for cheap money, and will be maybe still competitive, because again, of course, not everyone can, even with support of insurance or whatsoever, can afford very costly products. So very hot news from my side. Yeah, even though again it's already 2 months old, but sometimes hard to cover all of this news. And we already talked about Teva, and this is an old guy. I mean, it's a guy who was who was in the past. Karl Schulz is his name. He was active for actually Teva, yeah. So for this Teva Pharmaceuticals generic producer, you can see it here as a CEO, but he was way more important, 25 years active for Novo Nordisk as a COO, yeah. So he has strong experience, strong insights, and most important, this guy is now working for Hims and Hers in the board, yeah. So actually, this news already 1 month old. But again, something, because of all this positive and negative noise which is about Hims and Hers, sometimes this kind of information, they're not receiving the focus which they deserve, but just a strong one in my opinion. Yeah, let's see how this works out. And of course he tells, yeah, Hims and Hers is the first true disruptor, and yeah, he's working now for Hims and Hers, so I guess I believe him. But however, like this, yeah. But however, that is, he looked at other companies, he was the CEO. He here at this company is just a member of the board. Yeah, the same with this other guy. Quickly stepping back to the latest news we talked about, for instance, this one here, Christopher Payne. I mean, he was COO, for instance, of DoorDash. Yeah, and now he's here as well. Someone of many who is supporting. Yeah. So they really go for quality when we talk about Hims and Hers. Love this kind of news. And one more time, the keyword quality you can see here, quality in connection with transparency. Yeah? Making certificates of analysis available to every Hims and Hers customer. So, I mean, there are, you know, there was a short report, of course, for instance, about the production facilities or the companies who producing for Hims and Hers, and general risks and doubts about whatever quality and reliability and this kind of stuff. So Hims and Hers perfectly reacting from my perspective by providing this kind of certificates. You can request them as a customer from this month on. Yeah, so it's quite new news. How old? 20 days ago already. Okay. But from this month on, you get this kind of certificates which make sure, or which stating that quality level is top notch, and you don't need to have any doubts about it just because it's cheaper, just because it's generic, and just because the original patent holder or whatsoever, the name is not printed on the box in which the medicament is integrated. Okay. Something which actually had a negative impact on the pricing of Hims and Hers is this one. US FDA, so again the authority over there, flags dosing risks from component versions of Novo Nordisk weight loss drug, so this semaglutide version. And you can see this Wegovy, which is based on semaglutide, they have this sticks, you know, again, what you put once in a week and everything's fine. And yeah, they experienced that, or it was mentioned that some people didn't utilize perfectly the generic solution, so maybe as well of Hims and Hers, because I think there you have just a veil or something like this. You have your needle, you load it, you push it into your body, and yeah, it's a little bit, in terms of the serving process, it's not that convenient, but in the end, I mean, even with this, if you are a little bit unfocused, maybe you push it and you push one more time, or you forgot that you pushed it already last week or whatsoever, or last day, yesterday. So it's not a guarantee because of this pen it's working. And maybe Hims and Hers, I hope they will provide it as well in a more convenient form. Yeah, and they talked about form factors a lot of time during the call as well, and as well when you check out their presentation. And we see it, so I have big hope. However, this news roughly 1 month ago, 3 weeks ago, had definitely negative impact on the price, as everything which can get understand negatively. Something which is not actually just the news, but I want to inform you is this one here. And there's a quite interesting interview of Public App YouTube channel, don't know it, but maybe it's interesting, between the host of the show, basically, I don't know her, and the CEO, Andrew Dudum. And it's half an hour it takes roughly, but I think it's ganz is I start to talk German, that's not good. But it's actually quite nice to see, I think, how Andrew is behaving, how he's acting, how is he thinking about something. I mean, of course, he's a professional, he knows how to behave. At least you should expect it from a CEO of this kind of company. But maybe as a shareholder, and maybe as someone who's following my channel, and you are as well love really the business itself, not just the stock, but really company and products and services and people who are involved, you see it really as a company, as something real, and not just something what you see on shares, on charts and the numbers. might be interesting for you, so I want to share it. And the last news for HIMS of today is very new, from today actually. I just copied in right before going live, and you can see it here. HIMS and her stock rises as NETAM. And in this house starts with buy. So basically they rate it, and you can see it here. The shares actually reacted of HIMS and hers today already. I'm not sure what's the current price, but I guess it's up. Yeah, they're stating a buy target of 24 US dollars because of the brand reputation of this company, of HIMS and hers. 24 US dollars. Currently it's I have no clue actually. Let's check it out together. HIMS. There we are. 4%, 4.5% up. Not sure if it's just because of this news. However, it's at 17 US dollars. Oh no, it's down. It's down 5% now. It's updated. So the price is at 16.5 US dollar. Let's say 17 to make it simple. So there's $7 upside, or 25% roughly. Yeah. You can see what I'm telling you as well all the time, because I don't like this weight loss topic so much. Check out the latest earnings live stream. Yeah, it's even the headline. For me, HIMS and hers is way more than GLP-1, even though, and weight loss products, even though the focus is so high on this topic. So they're sharing this opinion. You can see there's a lot of potential what they're talking about. And yeah, I mean, not the biggest news compared to, which was this one, what I like very much actually, but at least some positive and some interesting actually. Okay, guys, one more zip, and in this time I'm sharing my screen, and you can see what will come next. Half of the companies are done, half of the water zip. That's a good ratio. Okay, but we are already 40 minutes live, so I guess, yeah, hopefully we are done in roughly 20 minutes. I don't want to push always more than 60 minutes. I need to be quicker in the future. Okay, however, let's go back and talk about NU. NU always producing a lot of news. They are strong in it, I can tell it like this. However, not a relevant news, I will not focus this too much. However, Euromoney, a British magazine, as you can see here, they recognize NU as one of the best banks, so basically as the best bank in Brazil, but as well the best digital bank in Latin America, the best digital bank in Brazil, and the best digital bank in Mexico. Yeah, not sure how much it's worth, but I wanted to share with you this news the same way like Nubank shared it by themselves actually 1 month ago. Then JP Morgan cuts Nubank's stock rating, actually raises target. So they're cutting the rating, so they make it more negative, but at the same time they're raising the target. So that is first of all. So it's not completely positive and not completely negative. You can see it here. They push it or downgraded the NU from overweight to neutral. Yeah, so that's negative effect. But on the other hand, they are raising, sorry for my chair, I really need to do something about it, but in the future, after vacation maybe. But on the other hand, they're increasing the price target, yeah, from $12 to $14. So NU is currently at whatever. NU is, let's check it out. NU is, the current price of NU is $14.5. Yeah, so actually their price target is already below or right on point of the price target of JP Morgan. So I guess JP Morgan, guys, please put it up a little bit to create more appeal, guys. Yeah. However, yeah, they're stating that performance, where is it? Here. Concerns include limited potential for further stock price appreciation, a possible worsening of asset quality in Brazil, a slowdown in growth, and the impact of weaker foreign exchange rates in the region. So there are different factors, different risks which are existing for JP Morgan, which can have a negative impact on the performance of NU and of course as well on the stock. I understand those. For me, it sounds reasonable. Foreign exchange rate, of course, for instance, definitely an aspect, especially when they're planning right now, or at least the market is expecting that the interest rate in Brazil, for instance, and Real will get up. So, yeah. So actually, a negative news, more negative than positive from my perspective. Shared it as well. Then they mentioned here they partnered up with Itaiuba. I'm not sure how you pronounce this. Very likely I didn't do it correctly. However, what they are doing is they start the offering of their first fixed income product, as you can see here. Yeah, so basically a pension fund. Yeah, so they push a lot of money in it, or other people pushing a lot of money in it. 3.3 billion of fixed income and private credits under management. So yeah, let's see what will come out of it. You never know. I mean, it's just maybe one piece of a puzzle. You know, don't know. I mean, they have so many pieces of puzzles. You don't know how relevant this will be in the future. But at least they're working on it and increase their product and service portfolio. And now we come to the news, which is for me the by far most important when we talk about NU. And it was the most important for me and most interesting actually in general, because that is the reason why I used it as a headline, as a title for today's stream. And you can see Nubank XP to join key Brazil index in boon for US listed shares. So to make it simple, I mean, you know MSCI, I think it's as well actually a company, and there's even a stock. So there are different kind of funds existing, ETFs, and there's of course or an index. Sorry. Okay, I hope I'm back on track, guys. So MSCI, I think they they offer indices, like the world index and the Brazil one, the Europe one, the S&P 500, whatsoever, this kind of index, if I'm not mistaken. And they offer as well, of course, the Brazil index, and the Brazil index is as well integrated in the MSCI world, not emerging markets, very likely, MSCI emerging markets, and maybe in an all world index and this kind of stuff. And what will happen on the 2nd of September is actually that some companies getting out of this index because they shrinked, they are too small anymore, a new comes in. And one of those is NU and StoneCo, actually. NU and StoneCo. So, and as well actually the direct competitor Inter & Co, which is as well a digital bank in Latin America, and the direct competitor of StoneCo, which is PagSeguro, yeah? As well a point of sales terminals provider and a bank. However, NU I think is the largest one out of all of them. And the result of it, if you can imagine, with this funds money streams going into these companies who are part of this index. And you can see it here that Morgan Stanley is expecting it could trigger almost $5 billion of inflows to those names. And because of NU is a very big one of those, they will very likely get the major share of it. Yeah. So really something something interesting, can really have a big impact on those companies. And if you check out the price of NU, how it raised the past days and weeks, maybe one aspect is definitely this. So definitely something which should not get under considered. Yeah, I think that can be very, very relevant, and was for me big news. Actually, I love it. And I mean, as soon as they are in it and people go on investing in emerging markets indexes, for instance, yeah, or Brazil indexes, always a part of it will get a NU, always get a part of it get invested in StoneCo. So very, very hot news from my perspective. Love it very, very much. Another positive news is the national Saudi fund, however it's called. And yeah, they invested in some companies, but most important is, or they trimmed actually some positions as well. As you can see here, Visa. But that is the good one. They basically tripled their existing position, more than tripled it, up more than 223% to 3 billion Class A ordinary shares. And you have seen $14.50 is the price. So 4 million multiplied, let's say with 15 is 60. Is it 60? Yeah, should be the case. 60 million US dollars Saudi fund is invested right now. So I guess they are quite convinced into new. We go on, and new did a survey basically, and you can see here the result. Only 33% of Colombians save money to achieve their dreams, according to research by New Colombia. And I like this kind of researches. Yeah, even though if it's a little bit, they are not neutral, let's say it like this. Yeah, neutral if you're doing this kind of service. However, it's always an information, and it's up to everyone on their own what they do with this kind of information. But what I like about to see this here, and you don't need more. Here are more informations, way more informations about it. But just 33% save money to achieve their dreams. Yeah, what means maximum 33% of them utilizing their bank account for saving money, yeah, and deposit money, basically utilize interest rates to just let the money work in this kind of aspect. That shows how underbanked and how unbanked the people over there is, and how much potential the business of new has in this kind of markets. Yeah, and yeah, already grew very, very strongly Colombia last 2 quarters, especially last quarter. So that proves it a little bit. More news actually. Now we talk about Mexico. You can see here with 3.3 billion deposits and 8 million customers, Mexico already stands out among new operations, and somehow in the same stage in Brazil, instead of 8 million customers, there was in Brazil only 7.7 million customers, and on the same stage in Brazil in 2019 they had 1 billion in deposits. Mexico has more than tripled the number, yeah. So that's very strong. People go for it, and I like it very much. I like, for instance, this number. The GDP compared to the average one in Brazil is 30% higher, yeah. So quite an impressive number. And another one which I liked about this, but I recommend it that you read it by yourself. Actually, like all the news you are interested in, always better to take a little bit time to focus those information. But what I like very, very much, you can see here over 40% of payments in Mexico are still made in cash. Yes, half of our customers have never had a credit card. Yeah, you see what is going on here. These unbanked businesses, countries. Same a little bit with Superbank and Grab, or GX and GXS and this kind of stuff. Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, and further markets in the future which might follow. So much potential when we talk about this. It's not just investing into the company, but as well into the market. And let's prove it a little bit when we talk here about new in connection with Mexico. And last but not least, actually a little bit negative affected news, but I take it neutral, like every time if management team members selling goods because selling shares, because it's part of their compensation, it's part of their salary, and there can be several reasons for selling shares. I mean, I always create more attention if the stock is pricing, some trouble situation is going on, you know, the conditions getting more rough, let's say like this. And when then board members, for instance, selling a lot of shares, okay, then I think, okay, maybe there's a message behind. But if in this case you can see, so basically the CEO of New, this guy here, I think he was as well a former, I think JP Morgan banker or something like this. However, he's a billionaire obviously, and he sold 3% of his total stack, or 30 million shares. So way more than the Saudi fund is owning actually, but maybe a part of it they sold it to Saudi Arabia, who knows? And that is more than 400 million US dollars overall, yeah? But yeah, it sounds like a big volume, big amount, and it is, of course. I would love to have just 1% out of it, and I would be happy, guys, no doubt about it. But at the end, it's 3% of his total stake, yeah? So for me, not a negative message, however, something what can get considered. And actually they mentioned that he will, where it stated they use it for retail purposes, I think. That's the plan somehow. Yeah, estate planning purpose. Not retail, estate, real estate, yeah, planning purpose, yeah. Okay, so that is what I wanted to share in terms of news. So far so good, everything sounds great. Let me share one more time my screen. Give me a sip of water. And promote this YouTube channel and the other social media channels of Sense of Capital. And go back with the next, focus the next stock, almost last stock, which is SentinelOne, cybersecurity developer and provider out of the US. Raised actually today quite nicely the price, and next Tuesday earnings call will take place. So don't make sure don't miss it. It's my newest company I'm invested in a few months ago, running already very, very well with 40% up or something like this. I need to check it out. But yeah, let's see. However, taking focus of their news, and yeah, of course, the big elephant in the room is CrowdStrike IT outage affects 8.5 million Windows devices, Microsoft says, and that was roughly in the mid of July. You can see here Delta Airline, American Airline, a lot of planes couldn't departure or arrive. Well, arrive, I guess they landed actually, but departure, so there was a lot of struggle going on. They couldn't boot up the computers because of this CrowdStrike update. Yeah, CrowdStrike is as well the biggest, or one of the biggest cybersecurity providers in the world actually. And direct competitor of SentinelOne, absolute direct competitor. They always have been fighting each other, even though SentinelOne is way smaller. Of course, in terms of enterprise value and in terms of market capitalization. And as well, of course, in revenue as well, but the ratio is a little bit, CrowdStrike was simply way higher priced than SentinelOne, let's say it like this. Doesn't mean if the one is more fair priced than the other, but just on some superficial KPIs that was always the case. However, CrowdStrike updated a lot of the customers' engines and devices and failed at it, and they had blue screen basically, couldn't boot anymore, computers have been switched off and couldn't start, and yeah, that was this major outage basically. So a lot of money went into the bin of a lot of different companies. Maybe there will be some law situations, some legal situations, some sues. Maybe Delta Air will sue CrowdStrike. Let's see what will be the result. But today it's not about CrowdStrike, and very likely you are already informed about it. But that was, of course, a big news, and it creates a lot of disruption and eruption into the business. And maybe SentinelOne can participate out of it. Yeah. Another launch or information, what is nice, is SentinelOne launches their Singularity MDR platform worldwide basically. You can see here MDR stand for managed. Oh, the sun, man, guys. Managed detection and response. So as well a cybersecurity solution basically. Guys, I will never be a cybersecurity expert. I can tell it to you. And I'm invested because I love this business, I love the sector. It's my favorite sector, was always my favorite sector. I'm not sure why, but at least in terms of investing, yeah. I mean, I like Grab's food business as well because I like to order food, even though you can't see it, but it's the case. However, I like this business case of cybersecurity so much because it's a strong growth story in general. It's a SaaS-driven one, so without creating too much additional expenditure, you can achieve a way higher stack of revenue. And it's most delicious aspect about the cybersecurity business for me. It's not affected that heavily by seasonalities, by economical developments, because at the end, when you have a cybersecurity platform, you're paying for it. you will cut down a lot of costs, but when we talk about cybersecurity, I guess management boards and this kind of decision makers, they have big struggle to argue that to not anymore paying for the cybersecurity company, for the software and this kind of stuff, yeah? Because security is always first, let's say it like this. So I like this identity, this rough conditions about cybersecurity. However, coming back to the news, this managed detection and response program is based on their Singularity AI platform. Yeah, however, never seen it, but I guess it sounds at least nice. And so they launch it now globally. Yeah, that's the news basically, because it was already before available in some regions. And you can see here it's stepping up their game, end-to-end coverage, including managed threat hunting, DFIR retains, and breach response warranty. Yeah, and yeah, I guess it's a big hit because they promoted it long time, and then they really rolled it out part after part and region after region, and now globally. So if you're interested, make sure to do your own research. I have strong issues, honestly, to understand details of this business. I'm honest here, but that's not for me the major aspect. I read Reddit, I read in this kind of topics about people who are asking questions. Look guys, I'm working for a company, we think about purchasing solutions of CyberArk, of Palo Alto, of CrowdStrike, of SentinelOne. What do you prefer? What is good and bad? And I read this kind of stuff, even though I don't understand always the details, but I understand the resume. I understand the final extract, and that is all I need to understand sometimes. However, good news, guys. Good news, I guess, and another source of income and being more competitive to their major enemy, which is CrowdStrike. And again, some very up-to-date news of today. You can see it here, 22th of August. SentinelOne stock surges as Wells Fargo, the big bank out of US, and a bank where Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway has invested since years and years, highlights market share wins and profit potential. Yeah. So because of this, actually, I think StoneCo, SentinelOne, raised very heavily. Let's check it out. What is the price? Okay, at least is it up to date? Give it a moment. Not that we have the same situation like a moment ago. So 2%, at least something, but you can see it already raised very strongly in the past weeks since this outage happened, and basically since after it dropped, after their earnings results, it recovered. Yeah. However, what they did is, Wells Fargo, they did kind of a survey of resellers and figuring out, okay, is there a chance, how is it CrowdStrike and SentinelOne compared to each other, and do the resellers already feel that demand in terms of SentinelOne is increasing? So basically SentinelOne is stealing share of the market from CrowdStrike. Is this taking place? And it seems like it is. It seems like customers are happy with the solutions of SentinelOne, and so actually Wells Fargo is quite convinced by them, and now they have a price target of $29, which is a quite huge jump from $19 US. And you can see they rated it up from equal weight to overweight rating. Yeah? So they are very convinced. Wells Fargo is definitely not a small player, and yeah, that creates of course some tailwind. Yeah, as you can see in the stock price. Okay, that's it already it for now of SentinelOne, and now another zip. And then jumping right into the last company, the company I guided or back this week, the earnings roundup, and the company, the earnings release was announced last week, if I'm not mistaken, and that is StoneCo, Estonia, point of sales terminal, ERP software, and financial service provider out of Brazil. Let's go back. Not too many news, guys. I can already spoil right now. But what I want to show is here, they posted something on LinkedIn 2 weeks ago, and they have actually a bunch of followers, as you can see here, a 7-digit number, a low 7-digit number. And they want to show the customers that they, for the TON customers, and TON is their point of sales terminal. I'm not sure if you can see it here if we click on it. But you can see it here, I guess. TON is their point of sales terminal with the budget version, let's say it like this. Yeah, a little bit more cheaper, comes in hand with lower costs for the micro and small businesses in Brazil, let's say it like this. And for those who can't afford it that easily. And they show that they have for those customers a program or a platform which you can enter and which trains you knowledge about teaching you how to run business and this kind of stuff. And what I want to show you is that, I mean, a lot of times when you cover and you back StoneCo, you're figuring out for them, it really seems it's important to take care of the community in Brazil, making sure to really step up the business over there. I think a lot of companies have this kind of approach in Latin America, actually, in this kind of regions with lower GDP and emerging markets, basically. Same like Nu is as well pushing the community. But StoneCo is doing this as well. Yeah, for instance, in the flood a few months ago in the eastern part of Brazil. And they're doing this here as well. So they want to make sure that the companies who are customers of StoneCo and who paying money and fee to their, because of their payment solutions, they want to make sure that they are educated, they stay loyal, their business growing well, and when the business growing well of StoneCo's customer, then of course do the take rate and the fee they're getting out of each payment at the stores, at these businesses, StoneCo will participate and benefit as well. Yeah, so that's this chain, which how is it connected? And I like to show it one time how they're doing this. So they communicate, look guys, we have this platform, we have this program, and this is how it looks then in reality, and you can enter it, and then you have different kind of information and very likely as well some presentations and this kind of stuff. And yeah, just an example how StoneCo has handled their business and what can be as well a tiny but as well puzzle piece of success and a differentiator, so a USP in terms of their competition. Yes, and guys, that was it already for today actually. Yeah, so I tried to keep it on time and it was roughly 60 minutes. I'm quite proud of me. And guys, if you like what you have seen, of course, again, one more time, feel free to subscribe and like this channel, and follow me as well on X, on Instagram and on Reddit if it's not causing you too much pain, let's say it like this. And just a quick outlook, I already showed it to you. I mean, Tuesday, the first time ever, I will back live SentinelOne earnings release, Q2 2024. And the time is 3:30 p.m. ET or 9:30 p.m. CEST. Guys, I'm not a cybersecurity expert. However, I will prepare myself like I do it. Always create some Excel slides, making sure that I roughly understand what I'm doing there. And then together we can jump into this nice earnings release. It can be very interesting. I guess the impact of CrowdStrike right now of this outage and potential market share which getting transferred from CrowdStrike to SentinelOne, I guess this impact because of the short period of time will be limited, honestly. But in general, I liked already the Q1 2024 results. What is the reason why I 1 day later invested $11,000 in this company? I was invested already 2 years ago, actually, roughly, and I sold it 1 year ago, right after the Q1 2023 results. And now 1 year later, Q1 2024, so roughly 3 months ago, actually I purchased back even more shares, because I'm still convinced. I always followed this company, and I hope this time I can stay a little bit longer with SentinelOne. So let's check out together what will be the outcome of the last 3 months for SentinelOne. And yeah, from there on, I will keep doing those stock news episodes as you can see them right now. So I hope you enjoyed today's stock news episode. Feel free to send me a DM if there is any uncertainty, if there's a question or whatsoever. Feel free to leave a comment if you liked what you have seen, or if you have a question one more time. And guys, as always, this was not financial advice, consultation whatsoever. There's no guarantee for the correctness of the provided data. And take care of yourself, stay healthy, enjoy life, most important. And don't sit in these areas like I always do this, where you try to do a stream and you can't see anything on your screen because the sun is blinding you that heavily. Tomorrow I guess I need to take a day off from work because I'm not functional anymore. However, much love. Cheers. See you next time. Bye bye. A sense of capital.